rice and all the just basic agriculture, really. Late 50s, 60s. Well, you think about the history of China in the 20th century. You have the Civil War, the Japanese War, the Cultural Revolution. So all those instabilities, just made people really insecure. And when Britain changed its rules about letting immigrants going to Britain to make a living there, people just grabbed the chance and emigrated to Britain and started working in restaurants and takeaways. So my family, for example, we left here in, my parents left in the late 50s and 60s, and I joined them in the late 60s. And they had restaurants and takeaways, and I grew up working in those kind of places. I guess the mentality of people who emigrated is once they leave the place, they don't want to come back. That was the mentality. I remember in those days, to leave Hong Kong by steamship, it took about 2 or 3 months travel time to get to Britain. That was the first trip they made. Then they had BOAC flights. And my first trip from Hong Kong to London took 2 days of flying time. Every country stopped out on every country. Now it's only 11 hours. I think a lot of them would like to sell their land, especially the paddy fields, which are available down there. The houses, yeah, they would sell too if they could.
Awesome. Come on, come out.
Yeah, it would be great to preserve this as a heritage site. But then we have, if you look across the water, you have the largest container port in Southeast Asia right there, doorstep. And over there, Shenzhen, they're building like crazy offices and condominiums. See those buildings there? That came up just in the last couple of years. So this is prime real estate. So if the government wants to earn megabucks by selling it to a developer who will build gated communities, who's to stop them? There's talk already this past couple of weeks is that the governments want to collect all the land and label it a country park, so-called country park. Once it's under government control, it's theirs, and they will label it as country park. So people are becoming aware of what's happening here and comparing it to what happened in Pingzhou. Someone just stepped in and said, "Oh, we're taking over and we're going to develop, X number of shopping malls here and so on." And I think that this will eventually become that too. So, so if that happens, then we'll have to make a stand and say either keep it or sell it. It's, kind of nostalgic about the old ways, and my family came from here. They were rice farmers, and we all come from working class background. So, or rather farming background, peasant background, if you like. So, and I see nothing wrong with that way of life or that kind of, attitude. And what I like to combine it is with modern technology and modern know-how in sustainable farming, which I have. I made videos about permaculture in Hawaii. I lived there and saw how they use permaculture. Interviewed the guy who started it, Bill Mollison. So I'm quite familiar with sustainable farming. And so I'm using some of that just to make life a little bit more pleasant. But of course, you have to be realistic. You have to earn a living as well. And so I do both. I use my video and photography skills and to make a living. Yeah, my Chinese girlfriend don't want to come here. She's so used to luxury, she will not come to this. No indoor toilets and bathrooms and whatnot. There's a growing movement, worldwide movement to recycle human waste, because what happens is that all those people dump their waste into the sea, and it's turning the sea, killing the sea. In Europe, EU has stopped that. They made all the waste recycling. So all the in Britain, in Essex, for example, when I lived there, the local authorities had to truck in all the human waste from the sewage farms and put them on a field, just spread out on a field, on vast fields, and let it, go back into nature, fertilize it, because they realize what they're doing in Europe is all that human waste is killing the oceans,
Hello.
Well, hopefully you'll come with some respect in the heart and respect the way of life here, and what's left here. It's a little bit of history. So.